Hello everyone, since Noctoon, welcome to another mod review, this time on Voluminous Energy. A mod that simply adds in a bunch of machines, components, ores, and generators and such. So obviously, kind of your typical stuff for tech mod. Fluids as well, upgrades, batteries, and things, but also has its own spin on things. So, yeah. First off, we'll start with the ores, of course. Two of them kind of look similar, but obviously they have different purposes. But first up we have, I'm pretty sure this is bauxite. Yep, which you need stone or higher for, which is used to make bauxite dust in a crusher. And you can use this to get, obviously, aluminium, but you can also get iron dust, some rutile ore, and dust, and titanium. You do have to crush them though, you can't use a furnace immediately, and you also can't use other blocks. So obviously I've got a megacraft in here as well for power and other things. As you might have noticed, there's no power cables, pipes or something like that. So yeah, I'm going to be using this for a few things, but yeah, you can't put this in a megacraft furnace or something like that. I have tried. Other than that, which we'll get rid of these, because we don't need them anymore, but they require stone or higher. You've got a galena also, I think? Or galena, something like that. Which is a ore that pretty much, obviously, gives you dust, as well as sulfur, and can be split into lead and silver, and give you extra sulfur, which you obviously need an electrolyzer to separate some of these, so keep that in mind. But you need iron or higher for that one. But rutile, which I'm pretty sure is a diamond or higher ore. Yes. Which you just use that to get rutile dust, which then you use to get titanium and some oxygen, which oxygen I don't think there is too much purpose, but either way. And then finally we have cinnabar, I'm pretty sure, which is an iron or higher, if I remember correctly. Yes. Which you need... you get cinnabar dust, and you get an extra chance of redstone, at least 2 with it, and you can use this to get mercury and sulfur. And then mercury is used for batteries. So, yeah. So that's the ores out of the way. Moving on from those, of course, we have machines, which will probably take up a fair amount of this sort of overview, but we'll try and cover a mix of different things, of course, throughout. There is also a wiki, which details a lot of interesting things, based on just, I guess, the weight, the offset, and cluster size or vein size, light levels, and what tools are needed and such. So if you want to know the ore information here, that's available via that option after you have the wiki displayed from starting from home. So if you want to know other information about those, they are also here with where the Y level is of 55, such and such there. I forgot about saltpeter, we'll get to that soon. You got the cluster size and Y level there. Following there, obviously many of these things can be changed in a config file, which we'll take a look at, but that's your ore information there. We'll just get to saltpeter real quickly, because I've got about it. Which disappears in deserts. The others obviously appear underground. And these have to be mined with a shovel, at least a wooden one. And it breaks... Oops, sorry, at least a stone one. I know it's one of them. Come on. There we go, stone. It gives you saltpeter chunks, which you then can break down to saltpeter dust. And then from there you can use that to make gunpowder, along with sulfur dust and coal dust. Or you can use an aqualyzer, or aqueolizer, with some sulfuric acid to get some nitric acid that's red and fuming, and obviously this is going into the sort of combustion and other fluids or gases sort of aspects of the mod. So yeah, next up we'll go with generators, which you've got access to the primitive tiers, which is sort of your early ones. There is a blast furnace, which I don't think is a generator, it's more a machine, but we'll cover that later. Sterling generator, which is simply made like so with some iron, furnace, and gears, just like so. So gears, you'll come across a few of these, so stone, which you can use any type of stone or cobble, iron, carbon, which is your later tier, aluminium, which has a few purposes, and titanium, which is only available for one machine. But yeah, so this will be your like basic coal generator, which I'll show how beneficial it is. And you've got your solar panel, which is made with lapis dust and some microchips and such. Lapis has to be in a crusher, of course, for that to happen. And you got extra sulfur chance. And then the microchips you can go with either gold or silver, doesn't really matter. You need obviously silicon for that, which is just smelted sand dust, which is just crushing sand in a block there, or you can get saltpeter from the ore. That's interesting. Okay. Weird. But yeah, so you'll need microchips for a fair amount of machines. I think you can use either. Just check here, so 5 and 5, yeah. So pretty much either one will work, doesn't matter. So whichever you've got access to for resources. And Voluminous energy doesn't add silver, but if you have other mods that add silver, actually no, it does, doesn't it? Yeah, so silver dust. Oh yeah, because I forgot from the Galena, right? Yeah, so if you want to use either one, I guess, from the mod, or just gold if you have access to it, so you can. So yeah, going to others, of course, we've got the Combustion, which is a bunch of fluid-related ones, and you've got the Sterling, which is an upgrade, so compared to the primitive. So we'll just take a look at this real quick. So we'll just put one in here. You can see the bars filling, and you can see it's currently generating 40. You can see there's a config slot for input or output, so this is currently facing upwards. I would say these are kind of similar to the vanilla style of IO configuring. Not exactly, but they can be kind of particular. The one I noticed, which I've been sort of experimenting with, is the Aquila, which obviously some by default are not configured, but you've got up and down for multiple of these, and obviously if you wanted to send things out of these blocks, it can be very tricky if you're wanting to just, you know, get, say, the fluid out compared to, say, the bucket item, or something else. It can be very awkward, I think, sometimes, but I'll have to find out after a bit more testing. But yeah, you can see this just keep filling up. I assume it'll maybe get to 32,000 and then stop. But obviously has a buffer of 100,000, as we can see there. So that's already filled up there, so technically maybe a bit more. You can see the amount of ticks and the percentage burned, and the production is what it is, so you can always get this information via certain tooltip type stuff, I guess, when hovering over the, you know, sort of fire or so icon, or certain other icons in the machines. So that's now finished. That's at 48,000, and that was 16,000, so just combine that, and that's obviously what you get. Pretty much about half this block's buffer. So the Sterling one, which is an upgrade, of course, which if we put in some coal, I'll just break this one so we can see what the proper one is. This generates 128, so it's quite an upgrade, and obviously generates a lot faster. So you can see the percentage and ticks amount there. Excuse me. And then we also still have the same IO chance, IO configuration there. So just wait for this one to finish up. Also break this as well. And I'll send them to other things later. So we've got the Combustion, which if we hover over, so we've got air there, we've got those, we've got the multiple different slots. We can send buckets in, or we can connect things up with some fluid transmitters or pipes or whatever. I'm trying to think what we can use in here. If we wanted to take a look, we can see liquefied coal, coke, and obviously you get others split off, I guess, from there, or something like that. But yeah, we'll just try liquefied coal just as an option, because I'm also considering testing that for something else. So just put this in here, is that right? No, hang on. There's energy, got that. Oxidizers, right. So some of these are oxidizers, some of them are not. So we'll put one of that in there. So that's what I was missing. So you need either oxygen, compressed air, dinitrogen tetroxide, I guess that is, oxygen, or whatever that is. So we'll just go with, say, oxygen, because that's one you can easily get access to. Now, there's no mercury in here? No. So oxygen's one you can easily get access to, obviously, from a rutile. So we'll put this on the left, and we'll see that's generating quite a bit there. That's generating 128. Very less amount of ticks than this one here, though. So that's 204, 800. And that's generating a bit less. But obviously you have a lot more fluids flowing through here, and otherwise it just burns, I guess, at each mount. and does 250 each time, both the oxidizer and the actual fuel you're wanting to use. So that's also going to differ. But that obviously has a larger internal buffer. Oh no, actually about the same. But yeah, they're pretty much upgraded tiers of generators. And the solar, obviously, we'll test as well. We'll place this down, we'll place this down, and this generates, I think, a small amount, so that generates a bit better. So we go, such time day, and we can see that's generating 40 something. And it does increase over time, and I don't know if it's dependent on the sun's position either. I don't think so, but either way, so that's doing 90s, that's doing 40s. As you can see, the difference in buffer amount as well. But yeah, so I'll just keep increasing. But I think they do a pretty good job. I think this goes to 75, and this goes to maybe 125, 128 something? Something like that. But yeah, they generate quite a bit. Otherwise, we'll move on to the machines. The one thing I will say with the machines that is very confusing is, besides their obvious, buffer having a certain, pretty sizable amount for each one, pretty much all at 5,000 it seems, you can upgrade this with, I think, a quartz multiplier, which is sort of like a speed and energy upgrade, I think, in one. I'll also show the recipe so we don't forget. See that? So we've got sterling, which is accessible early on. And you've got, where was it? I just had it. Sterling, which is obviously an upgrade, which requires some aluminium and some other stuff. You need a carbon shield thing, which is just aluminium and carbon plates, which we'll get to, because the carbon plates requires a bit of working out with some pet coke or coal coke, and yeah, the 25 is a noticeable difference. Yeah, there's also the different casings. So this one you use for quite a bit. This one you will for just upgrading, but you'll get nowhere. So don't make titanium and don't make the aluminium machine casing. Only make the shell and then make the carbon one, because these two do not have a purpose at all yet. But anyways, getting back on track. Yeah, the one thing about these machines is that the bar actually reduces. I assume this is a bug, but I'll show what I mean by just connecting a bunch of these up. So we'll just do, say, this, and that'll accept those. So that's got that and that in it, and that's got that and that in it. And yeah, so that's maxed out, right? 64, 128, that's what I meant. I was thinking maybe with some other connection, so